Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Community Spotlight. We've got a cartoon show edition here with four wonderful women showing us different cartoon games tonight on the Community Spotlight. Did want to take a moment and acknowledge that it is also International Women's Day today, so make sure you get out there, you support the women in your life. Make sure you make your spaces friendly towards women. It takes more than just giving shout outs to women and acknowledging their existence to make sure that they're happy and healthy in our gaming communities that are not always welcoming. So with that shout out of the way, I just want to thank everyone who came on the show today. We have a good lineup for you today, and of course we are continuing our ongoing daily content on GDQ Hotfix. So if you would like to see any of our upcoming content, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, see what's coming up. Or if you want to see our past content, you can go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick to see our VODs. Also want to quickly acknowledge that Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. We'd appreciate it if you would consider subscribing if you are not. And of course, if you tune in tomorrow, we have Random Number Generation run by Skybills. It's a show about randomizers and randomizer community stuff that's adjacent, like bingo sometimes. It's always a good time. If you haven't seen that show, I definitely recommend checking it out. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. But we've got Frozen Flygon here, who's ready to run Powerpuff Girls Him and Seek. Garby the Glittress here on commentary. How are you both doing today?
Hi, thanks so much for having us for the cartoon show. I'm super excited. How are you doing, Garby?
I'm good. I'm excited for tonight and to see this run. This will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Powerpuff Girls games have always been like a thing from my childhood, and I've now speedrun 4 of them, and I'm on a journey to speedrun every single one. But Him and Seek is like my main Powerpuff Girls speed game. I hold the world record in any percent and 100%, and Garby has been instrumental, and other people in the chat have been instrumental in bringing the world record down from, it was about 25 minutes about a year ago to now under 20 minutes. It's now 1931. And so you're going to get to see a lot of the strats we've come up with over the past few months.
Yeah, and of course, after this, we're going to be flipping things around. Garby's going to be showing us some Powerpuff Girls games with Flygon on commentary. So we've got a little mini Powerpuff Girls block of games to show for you here at the start of the show.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm super excited. So ready to jump into the first run here?
How would you explain this game to people who haven't seen it before? Like, what can they expect to see?
If you've never seen it before, this is like an action adventure game. So our teacher is asking us to complete a school assignment where we're going on a scavenger hunt to collect all these items throughout the town and also stop the villains who have been stealing items from the children at school. So we're going to be going out throughout Townsville, completing different story quests. In any percent, we just have to complete all the story quests. And that's the category we'll be showing off tonight. So see a bunch of boss fights, a lot of cool movement and combat options throughout this game. It's a really, really cool speedrun.
Sounds good. If you're ready to get started, then why don't you or Garby give us a countdown?
Sure thing. Garby, you want to count me in?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so I'll count us down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. And so right away, our teacher says, you want to check all the items you need? And I'm going to say, yeah, I know what the items are. I've speedrun this game before. Let's go. And so the first portion of this game, the girls decide to split up and search for clues on their own. So we're going to control one girl at a time. The girls are actually quite different in terms of their special attacks that you'll see later using the magic bar are all different, and their flight speeds are all different. So we start off with Bubbles. She's the fastest of the 3. She's well known for loving animals, so she is at the zoo trying to put the animals back in their pens and keep them safe. If Garby, you want to talk a little bit about how the magic system works with dashing and attacking.
Yeah, so if you so the yellow gauge that's below the blue bar there, that's the magic gauge, and as you dash, it runs out. So we're kind of like just dashing whenever we get like more more of the stamina bar, and that also is used for attacking later on in some fights. So it's kind of an interesting routing in seeing how you use those simultaneously.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of optimizations in terms of when to use your dash, but also when I need to save my attack. So the special moves require that you have half of your magic bar. And we're going to see a fight at the end of the segment. So I'm going to try and come out of here with a full magic bar. But I also, it's so much faster to be dashing. And so it's a real balancing act of that's really big in the route. So it's really interesting.
So I notice you're tapping the dash there. What does that accomplish for you when you're doing that?
Yeah, so if I'm not at full magic, and I can actually do a little speed tech that's tapping that is giving me momentum, but I'm still getting magic back at the same rate as if I wasn't pressing the button at all. And so that's a pretty niche speed tech that allows me to keep moving a little bit faster than normal flight speed, but then still be gaining my dash. Otherwise, you can just use your entire dash bar and then wait for it to fall all the way back up, but that's slightly slower. And over the course of the entire run, it saves a lot of time. Oh, that was the meerkats. We're done. Okay. wait a second. We saved the meerkats. We're out of here.
And there has been quite a bit of optimization in this game lately. Like, Frozen Flagon recently got the record down to sub 20 with a 1931, which is really impressive.
Yeah, my previous time was a 2020, or it was a 2017. So I got like a 40-second PB with some new strats in the observatory, which we'll be seeing in a little bit. But a lot of it is just, getting some really good fights and stuff like that. There's no RNG in this run at all, actually. But there's a lot of variance in terms of how you go through, and use your magic and stuff like that. It's more self-variance than any randomness within the game itself. So you can see me using the attacks that she has. So Blossom is an interesting case in that I actually don't ever want to use her Blizzard attack because it doesn't do any damage. It just pauses the enemy. Whenever I'm using the Blizzard attack, that is simply out of habit. I'm not trying to. I want to use the lightning attack. That does a lot more damage. And so here it's actually, it's a little bit faster to not dash between the enemies and save to punch them because they have a lot of health. And then there is also a boss fight at the end of this segment. I'm going to fight Princess. So you see me doing the dash tech again to try and get a full meter at the end of this to be ready for the Princess fight.
So does that mean that each girl has two different magic attacks if she has the Blizzard and Lightning, or is that specific to Blossom?
Yeah, those are Blossom's two attacks. Bubbles has Sonic Scream and Thunderclap, and what's really interesting about Buttercup is by far the slowest, but has the strongest moves. Has a fireball that can go through multiple enemies at a time, which is really useful, and then has a tornado attack, which isn't as useful in the speedrun, but can hit enemies multiple times in the same area. So now we're into Buttercup's zone. We don't actually have to fight all the enemies here. Certain enemies have the gems. We need to get 10 gems and then we'll leave. And so you see, I'm only fighting the ones that have the gems within them.
And you'll also see that she's intentionally losing some health because after she gets the 10th gem, she'll want to take an intentional death because she'll spawn closer to the entrance.
Yeah, something that's really nice with this game is it's actually very forgiving, especially when learning the speedrun. Because when you die, you just respawn. Nothing really happens to you. So we actually use that to our advantage here because when we die, it spawns us back to the elevator. You have full magic, and Buttercup is so slow at flying, it's so much faster to actually take the death animation. So I got the plush dinosaur, and I got this, and now we're zooming with all three girls.
One thing that changes when you have all three girls, you do get a new attack where you can, if you use all your magic bar, you can do a really powerful beam that's on the screen for about a second or two, and that can be really helpful in taking down some of the later bosses.
Yeah, we're gonna see the impacts of that when we fight Mojo, Jojo, and him. That beam is really, really important, actually. So now we are going to Tokyo Townsville, and they said, oh, the monsters have taken over. And so we're going to clear out this area. And so you get to see some slight optimizations I've been making are... I kind of used to go through here and I would use all my magic on dashing. I've recently done more of a balance of dashing and attacking because some of the enemies have a lot of health. Specifically, the really buff dinosaur guys and the purple blobs. They have like twice as much health as any other enemy, and it's really slow to just kick at them. So anytime I fight them, I try and use a magic attack first. And that optimization has cut down a decent chunk of the time in any of the areas that you fight those kinds of enemies.
Could I assume by having Bubbles in front, you're using her speed for all three girls?
Yes, I always want to be using her anytime we're traveling because she is so much faster. There's going to be a section later of the game where I'm going to swap to Blossom for like pixel lineups, but otherwise I want to be using Bubbles the entire time. And then here I'm swapping off of Bubbles just to save her health. And that is Tokyo Townsville. So swapping back to Bubbles and getting this health. And so the Boogeyman has taken over. We get back to normal Townsville, and the Boogeyman's taken over. This is pretty similar to the previous section, except there's 2 screens. You have to clear out both screens of enemies, and you'll kind of see me go in a clockwise direction. That's just because it's easier for me to keep track of which enemies are on the ground, which enemies are in the air, because it can be really easy when you're playing this casually to just miss an enemy, and it's like, oh, they're in the air, I didn't even see them, which is really interesting. Like that enemy, it's like, why are you up there? But over time you get more familiar with where all the enemies are, so I kind of just go in a big circle to make sure I don't miss any of them.
I've also had it to where, like, when I destroy the enemies in wrong order, I think it is possible to soft lock if you destroy the enemies in the wrong order, so
yes.
That's something you have to be careful of.
We have discovered that sometimes the game will, if you don't clear out the right room and then the left room, the game will forget to give you the password. And you can just like exit out of the game and come back in, but like of course that's pretty big time loss. We don't really understand why that happens, so it's just safer to take the clockwise route for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yep, the game's like, you've cleared out all the enemies. Good job. And it's like, can I have the password, please? Alright, so get ready for the best rhythm game in gaming history right here.
I'm bopping in my chair.
Yeah, so it's a rhythm game that doesn't match the music and is just very slow and has 3 rounds of it, and your opponent is not even dancing. So we live here now for about 3 more minutes. Also, you get the joy of the girls staring directly at you. All around an incredible segment.
I believe this is the appropriate emote to be posting in chat.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's jam time. So this is the time where we just spam our jam emotes.
Oh my goodness, that's an animation.
Yeah, so the only speed tech to do is just spam A in between the rounds to make sure you go to the next round as much as possible, so it just ends up that the girls just wiggling. It's great. It's great. So I see what they were going for here. There's 3 total minigames in this. There's the dance minigame, the Frogger Mojo Jojo minigame, which we're going to get to see later, which is actually really fun. And there's the pinball game, which you only have to do 100%. The pinball game's pretty bad, but this is probably the worst. And there was potential. It could have like Powerpuff Girls music is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are y'all doing? No.
Is there a score that you need to meet? Like, can you fail this game?
You have to get the majority of greats and perfects overall, like the total amount in any round. But that is it's pretty lenient. So like perfect is honestly pretty easy to get because the notes are so pretty slow moving. You have to be like really far out of the circle to get anything lower than like okay. And it's actually bad to get a combo because combo takes longer for the game to like give you your score at the end. So I usually try and break the combo by missing the last beat in each round of 3 rounds. Right, all they had to do was just have it line up with the beat. But no, it's like they intentionally did it. It's so silly. Oh, it's so good. And it's 3 rounds. It's pretty hilarious. Alright, we're out of here. You girls sure know how to boogie. Okay, yep. So we got the dancing shoes, one of the items on our list, and we've been told that Mojo has escaped from jail, everyone's favorite Powerpuff Girls villain. And so he also released all of the other people who are in the jail. So we need to go through and release all of the jail guards, and then did I miss? I think I missed one. I need to be in queue. There we go. This area is really difficult to remember where all the guards are. They're in a specific cell, so I have them like in my splits. This area is also extremely laggy because the game is expecting you to clear out some of the people in this like main area, but we're not gonna do that because that's slow. So the game just does not like it and lags you. Oh, Game Boy Advance games.
I know, yeah.
This area is really interesting because there are some cells where you saw me like go through, and so the middle cells you can kind of screen wrap through. So we do like a snake route to make sure that we're spending as little time in like the overworld section as possible. The A cell is the only one that has 2 guards in it. It can be really easy to accidentally miss one here. But now we've got all 10, and then probably one of my favorite segments of the game coming up is the Mojo Frogger section. It was actually really, really fun to optimize.
Mojo Frogger?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
That is a sentence I didn't experience.
Have escaped! And you, the player, will help me. And he goes on this big rant, which we skip, but it's like really funny. So here we are, Mojo Frogger. Again, there's no RNG, so this route has been specifically scripted to go as fast as possible, but also be very safe. There probably could be another cycle save or 2 in this, but I take this safe and slow because dying on it costs a good amount of time. So the submarines, again, only go down at a specific time. So if you know when to be on a submarine and when not to be on a submarine, you're going to be totally fine. It's great.
There's also a really odd quirk with this where if you play the Frogger minigame in the minigame like menu, it'll cause this to be on a harder level in the actual game, so
yes.
You have to be careful about that.
Yes, it makes no sense. I discovered this when I was doing world record attempts on stream one time. I was just like, oh, let's go for high score attempts in the minigame in the main menu. That sounds fun. And then I tried to do an actual run and the cycles were incorrect. I was like, what? What? Okay,
that's amazing.
So here yeah, it was awesome. So here we are to a really cool part of the speedrun called the Observatory, where we're gonna just clip through all the walls. The observatory is typically a very difficult maze, but we have discovered clips, and the entire maze is actually made up of only 3 screens, and so this is the hardest clip of them all. Gotta line up and go in. There we go. And clip inside the wall. And so we just teleport to the next screen. And there I go, slipping into the next wall. And this was really fun because I accidentally found this, and Garby accidentally found this, and then we actually just routed it in to the run because we theorized, oh, we only need the yellow passkey and the purple passkey if we can clip into these specific walls, and we labbed it and figured it out.
Yeah.
So why I'm using Blossom here is I actually line up her hair bow with a part of the background here to know where to clip in, and it works every single time. Pretty new lineup I discovered. So again, I'm gonna use the top of her hair to line up with this background, and it will clip you in every single time. So it's really, really cool. I do it again right there. So I grabbed the purple passkey, and now we are at the boss door.
That's a really cool lineup, yeah.
Yeah. Found that pretty recently. So that's the observatory, probably my favorite segment of the game because just clipping out of bounds is so much fun. So here, there's a fast strat with Mojo. If you have 2 girls with full magic, we're gonna see the all 3 girls attack. And I have 3 girls now with full magic. And so we're gonna use the special attack, swap, use the special attack again for a quick kill.
Yay.
Really fun section of the speedrun. Alright, and now the run's almost over. We're moving into the end game. This run's really fast, really fun. 100% has a little bit more boss fights, a little bit more exploration. I really enjoy both categories. So now we're moving into everyone's, another fan favorite villain of Him. Him has a belt that we need to obtain for the scavenger hunt, so we gotta go chase him down.
Him is just queer goals, like as
Yes.
a character. I love it.
Yeah.
Him is amazingly queer and awesome. And so this is Him's lair. As a kid, this section was probably the most infuriating thing I ever had to do in a video game. It was so confusing. So basically what's going on here is this is an auto-scroller. And the fireballs can kill you and the meteors can kill you, but you can also punch them. So that's why you see me doing that. There's 3 separate screens and you have to find the portal, the correct portal. The game doesn't tell you which portal is correct. So you basically have to just do a trial and error of trying to go as far as possible without hitting the wrong portal. So in screen 1, you go along the bottom of the screen. In screen 2, it's the top, and then screen 3 is kind of like a up and down. You have to weave in and out of different areas. So as a kid, it was really difficult. But we have, once you've done it enough, it's not too difficult. But in this area, it's actually really easy to get clipped into a wall. And if you clip, your girl will just completely lose. The girl will faint, and you have to restart that screen over again. So that's some pretty big time loss that can happen to new runners if you're not careful with the walls.
And I think there was some chemical X a little bit ago. That'll revive one of the Powerpuff Girls, so it is a good backup if you happen to lose.
Yes, there is a good backup there. And again, it's really important that you have all 3 girls. So throughout the run, I've been using bubbles the most. So you're like, why do you need all 3 girls? But you saw in the Mojo fight, the special attack, we're going to be using that on Him for a very quick kill. We need 2 of our characters to have magic. And the fastest way to do it is to have Buttercup and Blossom have full magic, and Bubbles still have full magic, so you can immediately switch to her at the end to go to Pokeoks as fast as possible. So we really want all 3 girls to have it. So here's this confusing 3rd screen. We have to get this rubber ducky for good luck. You actually need it in 100%. But we always get it for good luck. And it reminds you if you're going the right direction. Then you gotta sneak up here. And then sneak back down here and not get clipped into the wall. And then basically my visual cue is I go up until I see spikes, and then you can follow spikes to victory, basically. They'll lead you to the right portal. Yeah, good luck, Duck. Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna switch to Buttercup here for optimal fight and leave. Yeah, it's really easy if you're not paying attention to not follow the spikes and get to the wrong portal, so it's kind of a stressful end of the run, but it's not too disastrous if you have your notes ready and know where you're going.
She's hardcore!
Bubbles is hardcore. I love her. I have a hardcore emote in my server. So here, we're gonna do 1 hit, and you're like, oh, that barely did anything. But this is going to double hit, because it transfers to the second phase, and then you can still hit because the attack is going for so long, and then it's an insta-kill. That saves so much time over the previous strat we used to do. Really huge optimization that occurred a few months ago.
And now we're just on the way back to turn everything in?
Exactly. Yep. So we basically just zoom as fast as possible, tell our teacher, hey, we did it, and that is time.
Yay, DJ.
Yay!
Very solid run, about mid-20s, I think. So yeah, we've as a community brought down this game brought down the world record 5 minutes over the past year. with the out of bounds in the observatory, with all the fight quick kills, with the movement, and it's just been really fun to work with Garby and the other people in the community to do that. So thanks so much for enjoying this run, and if you haven't played this game, it's really fun casually. Highly recommend.
So I remember, I think last year, it might have been the year before, time doesn't make any sense. I remember on Edge Case Collective, you were actually did a live tutorial with Garby on this game. How much of that is still up to date? Like, if you wanted to learn this game, how much of that would still teach you the basics of the speedrun?
Yeah, we did that live tutorial earlier that day was when the out of bounds was routed.
Oh, okay.
Right before I taught Garby. So yeah, that would be like very close to accurate. Also, we've been keeping our guides updated on the speedrun.com page. I'm a mod there. So there's a full guide with images that also show you exactly where to clip if that part scares you. I promise the clips are not super difficult. They're really laid out, and this is a really fun run to learn. It was one of my first speed games, and I hope everyone really enjoyed this and is excited for even more Powerpuff Girls stuff next with me and Garby still.
Yay!
Yeah, so we're going to go to a quick break so we can switch runners, and then Garby's just going to run the trilogy without really going to a break because it's just quick game transitions. So we're going to take a break here.
Yeah.
We're going to get ready to switch over to Garby doing her runs, and then we'll be back with the next 3 Powerpuff Girls sort of trilogy of games. So stay tuned, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We just switched our runner and commentator around. Now we've got Garby here. So we're running the... I did not change the everything there. We'll fix that real quick. We're going to be playing the Powerpuff Girls Game Boy trilogy here. And so we're starting off with Powerpuff Girls Bad Mojo Jojo. And I don't think are we going in release order? What's the order of games we're doing here, Garby?
Well, we're doing Powerpuff Girl Battle Jojo. This is the game that was released first, but we're going to reverse it with Battle Him, Powerpuff Girls Battle Him, and Powerpuff Girls Paint the Townsville Green. Battle Him was released last, but we'll be doing that after this because Paint the Townsville Green is what I consider to be the hardest game.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, just with so I think that's probably the best way to do the
Nice.
ordering.
And how would you explain what is the main difference here between this trilogy of games and what we just saw with the game that came later on Game Boy Advance?
So this trilogy, so this is more of an action game where you have to go through various stages and fight bosses and collect collectibles. So it's more stage oriented, and the other one's more. And the Him and Seek is more just a scavenger hunt. So,
Okay.
and also this game has like link capability with the games with the trading cards that you can use, and they can also unlock like cheats, I believe.
Yeah, all 3 of these were meant to be able to like link together and share items between them, which is really interesting. So there are some stages that overlap between the 3 of them, but the girls traverse them differently. So you'll see a few familiar stages between the trilogy, but it's how you beat each game is totally different, and it's really cool that Garby and I have both run all 3 games because it's actually kind of hard to keep them apart in your head.
Yeah, there's a few stages where it wouldn't surprise me if I get lost a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah. But yeah, you see this wonderful like intro screen, but yeah.
Okay, so if you're
I guess I'll just-
ready to go, why don't we get Frozen to give us the countdown this time? Or Flygon.
You ready? Let's do this.
Yeah,
And
let's go.
3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Thanks. So right here, I'm getting a phone. What that will do is like the phones let me call one of the girls to do like damage, and the green phone's there that caused Buttercup, who's able to do five damage, like where a normal punch is only 1 damage. So I want to be in the green phones whenever I can. And so you see there I got a key. You need to you need to go to a specific checkpoint. Like that was a checkpoint there, and I need to go to that to be able to get the next part of the level to get doors to unlock. So it's really important that you go in the right order.
I enjoy this boogie that Blossom does while she flies.
Yeah, so we have the flight meter at the top of the screen. So unlike him and Seek, you only have a certain amount of flight. And so when she stops having any more flight in her flight meter, she does the little arm wiggle. That's how you can tell you're out of flight.
Yeah. And I want to be not having any of the flight meter whenever I can, because when you do that wiggle thing, it does give you some extra speed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will need to also make sure to have flight meter for whenever I need to fly. So it's kind of a balancing act to make sure you have it when you need it.
Figuring out routing with the flight meter is really important.
Yeah. And we're about to head to the first boss in a little bit. And so we're going to face.
Go ahead.
In this game, we'll be facing Mojo Jojo in this game.
Yeah, so each of the trilogy games have a signature boss. So Blossom, the game is Bad Mojo Jojo, so classically we're going to be fighting Mojo Jojo in this one. The boss fights in this game are very difficult, so you'll see Garby kind of setting up and trying to get a combo. The Chemical X is a stun, and so that is what's stunning him, and then you can also call your sisters on the phone, and Buttercup does the most damage, so we call Buttercup there to get the fight done as soon as possible.
Yeah, the flight meter's on the top right of the screen right here.
Yeah, it just doesn't show up when you pick up items because the number out of number makes it go away for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anytime you pick up an item, the flight meter is obscured.
Yeah, that makes it that's kind of makes it a little tricky to know how much flight you have whenever you get a power up.
Yep.
And so this has a lot of different routes. We recently found that this route was faster. You saw I took the other way, but that's not quite as fast as this way. And so, yeah.
So what do the items do when you pick them up? Are there any of them you're going out of your way for, or are they just collectibles that just you happen to pick up when you do?
So, if you get all the collectibles, they're just for percent, but if you get 100%, you get to get a couple of bonus levels. You get 100% in every level, but that's pretty tricky to do, so I usually just definitely prefer 80% in this game.
100%, routing 100% of this game sounds like a nightmare. Collecting all the little items throughout the stage. The good thing is, for the category of all levels, typically you would actually have to get 100%, but you can use a cheat code to unlock the levels, and we have permitted that in the speedrun rules.
Yeah.
I don't want to collect all these items. I'm not going to make any of the speedrunners collect these items. We don't need to deal with any of that.
Yeah. I even tried to collect all of them in one level, but I thought I got all of them, but I ended up just getting 99%, and that kind of thing seems like it could be really annoying in a speedrun. Mm-hmm. Where even am I? Okay, good. So
flying in the clouds is so scary!
Yeah. So here we're going to be facing Princess, and she has 10 HP, and we can do 5 HP twice with the Buttercup phones, so we can just do this fight really quickly.
I like how Buttercup just shows up and just starts beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, you have to collect the phone within the level, but then it's really clutch. So we're going to be using Buttercup phones. And even in the Buttercup game, you can get a Buttercup phone and call yourself to do the most damage. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Also, that princess fight, if you don't use the Buttercup phone, she just flies around, and it's really tricky to fly to the correct cloud to defeat her. So you definitely want to get them. It saves a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, big shout out to Garby who figured out the damage calculations for everything, because I had previously thought that Blossom and Buttercup kind of did the same amount, and that Bubbles did something, but it turns out Bubbles only does a stun. So it really changed up the routing of going through these levels once we figure out the damage calculations, how much damage each of the bosses had, and if it was worth it to route in phones. That was a really big part of optimizing this game.
Yeah. writing in phones is like definitely a big part. And just today I found a new phone in a level that can help save some time. A new green Buttercup phone.
Nice.
But this is like this is definitely a pretty neat speed game.
It is. It's really the difference. The big thing is that this speed game can actually be really punishing. Because if you lose all your hearts in an area, you get teleported back to the last checkpoint. There's not very many checkpoints in these levels. Typically, when you see a dialogue trigger happen, that will be a checkpoint. But it doesn't really happen very often in some levels, and you can get in a pretty big death loop. And if you game over, as you can see, Garby only has 2 lives in the top left. You have to restart the entire level. So definitely not a super marathon safe game, but Garby's really good at it, so it's all good.
Yeah, your lives do refill after you complete a level. Like, you start with 2, even if you get to 0 in one level, you'll get back to 2 after you start the next level, so that's at least nice. But yeah, one thing with the 3 Powerpuff Girls games is that you use different characters and face different enemies. In this one, the main antagonist is Mojo Jojo, but in the other ones, it'll be him and the Green Gang and the other 2. Games that I'll be playing later.
So yeah, this is the we're chilling in the subway, and so you can see there's like the earthquake happening after you defeat Mojo Jojo, so we're trying to escape, and that is the end of level 2.
Yeah, and now we're going to probably the most tricky level,
yeah.
One of the more tricky levels in this, with how platforming works. There aren't any checkpoints until in this whole level, I believe. So
no, there's not. There's no checkpoint in this level, and the kill plane, once Garby goes outside, the kill plane when you're on top of the buildings is really punishing. It's very easy to accidentally slide off into the abyss and have to start this entire level over. This was probably the biggest roadblock when I was trying to optimize this game. I tried to get under 15 minutes in all of them, and it's really easy to accidentally slip and fall here. And you can see sometimes in the sky, there's the different items that we talked about earlier. They don't really do anything. The exception being there's like a heart with wings that will refill your flight meter. So occasionally that can come in really clutch if you don't have any flight.
I didn't get the red phone the blossom phone that I usually get, so I'll need to do 2 more hits to the roach coast that I'll be facing later. And the roach coast is probably he has 20 HP, so it's a pretty long fight.
Roach Coach is really difficult. And you'll see why. It's like a platforming boss and a fighting boss at the same time.
Yeah.
So again, grabbing the Buttercup phone there before we talk to Miss Bellum, because the Buttercup phone is really important for doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and also Roachcoat moves around a little bit, so how long he moves, I believe, is random, so there is a little RNG for this fight. I think that's 3, either 3 or 4. Okay, I'm gonna say that's 5. After I do 8, I'm gonna start using my phones.
Yeah.
6.
This is really tricky, because as you can see, Garby's having to kind of fly down, punch, and fly back up. So if you hit any of the roaches at the bottom, you're going to take damage. So this fight is extremely difficult, and you have to be very careful with where you're landing and how much flight you have, because otherwise you can kind of just get comboed with the roaches. So using the phones here at the right opportune time to make this fight go as fast as possible.
Yeah. And okay, yeah.
There we go.
That's
nice.
the last hit. Yay. And
those are roaches on the ground.
So now we're going to the last level, and there are a lot of different ways you can do this level. In my most recent run, I didn't get any power-ups, but for this hotfix run, I'm going to be getting a Buttercup phone up here because the final boss is really challenging.
Yeah, does, yeah. This level itself is fairly easy. We kind of take it as an opportunity to stock up for the fight. So collecting some chemical X's, collecting the phones we were talking about, getting health, all those things are really important. The only thing we have to do in this level is rescue Miss Bell, and then we go all the way to the top.
Yeah, I think I went the wrong way. Yeah, this is where to go, I think. Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost here. a lot of the areas look similar. So here's Miss Keen. We're rescuing her, and then she basically tells us you gotta go to the top and confront Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, there's gonna be one more Blossom phone I can get. So I think this fight should go fine. I've done a lot of practice with it, and I feel like I've gotten better with it. It's gonna be like 3 phases of 12 hits each, so it's a pretty long fight. Yeah, they look like Seekers.
They do. The little floating tentacle things. I love them.
Yeah.
Alright, so phase 1, it has Mojo Jojo in the helicopter like we saw in the volcano level. You have to avoid the bullet that kind of chases after you. And also, if you hit the propeller, you'll take damage as well. So it's all about doing really low flight. Being sure to not get hit by the propeller, not getting hit by the bullet.
And the bullet does a full heart of damage.
Yeah.
And when the other one only does a third of a heart. So getting hit by the bullet, you really want to make sure to avoid that.
For a kids game, these fights are brutal.
Yeah. Okay, that's 2.
Moving into phase 2, now we're on the ground, kind of like we saw in the chateau level. And the fight, it works exactly the same, just all the phases are smushed together.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually going pretty well. Just about. I think I'm just about to get to the 3rd phase. Maybe 1 more hit, and then I'll be at the 3rd phase. Or no, 1 more hit now. Okay. And then. All
right. Cool. Last phase is a new one. So he has a baseball bat. Basically, what Garby's doing is just shooting the chemical X and then doing a hit because it freezes them, and then you can do an attack, and then going to be using the bullets.
And time's gonna be after I enter the heart here.
Yep.
And that's the story. And that's what the ending is. But time.
GG. That's a great run.
Yeah, thanks. That I had a lot of fun. That was definitely fun. It's definitely fun running these games, and it's kind of a little anticlimactic because the ending is something you have to mash through, so you don't really get to see what it is, but that's how the run is.
Amazing run. That was really good. All the fights went incredibly well, and that's the scariest part of these games, and the fights were great.
And here's where you see like the trading cards, I guess. Like you get to see the lore. But now
oh my
I'm
gosh,
gonna
that one's scary.
Yo, what the heck is that?
There's a roach! I didn't like I've never seen this!
But yeah, that was Bad Mojo Jojo, where we control Butter or Blossom, and now the next game we're gonna be doing is Battle Him. This was released last in the trilogy, but we're doing the second, and we'll be doing the Buttercup game later.
Alright, I have an important question before we start Battle Him. How hardcore is Bubbles in this one?
She's hardcore!
Yes! This is probably my favorite of the trilogy, I think. A big part of that is because I think it's the easiest. But I also just love Bubbles, and I think her levels are really fun.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the easiest in the trilogy, because there aren't any really difficult boss fights, I would say, in this one. Like, the other ones have pretty difficult boss fights, but the ones here aren't that bad.
Yeah, some of the ones in the last game just looked rude, like...
They were rude, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to paint the Townsville green. Those boss fights are rude.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we're probably about ready.
Okay.
So I guess if you want to count me down, flag on.
Alright, let's get started with Battle Him in 3, 2, 1, go.
coloring.
Yeah, she starts out, she's just coloring, and I love it. And then him just comes and taunts her and takes all her crayons. It's so mean.
How mean?
How dare you take Bubbles' crayons?
I know. She just wants to do some art.
Yeah, no. Okay, I'm getting this. This is the new phone I discovered today. I was just randomly flying up and I was like, hey, a new phone.
Never seen that phone. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But that definitely does help with, like, the game. And you have to be careful here because there's a lot of, like, water. So I want to be careful with how I do this.
Yeah, if you fall into the water, you don't take damage. You have to reset the entire level. So that makes Bonsai Gardens a little bit tricky. It's definitely a risk reward of flying and going fast, but you don't want to land in an out of bounds zone. So it's pretty tricky until you get really familiar with like visual cues of, oh, I should fly here, I should stop here.
Yeah, and the clouds flying like into them from the bottom is kind of finicky. Like, you see I'm kind of, like, getting, like, I don't know, I'm having trouble flying into them, and that can kind of really throw me off, so this can be a little bit tricky of a room.
Yeah, the clouds do act as platforms. Anytime you're on the ground, you're going to gain flight, so you see the flight meter on the top right. But the flight meter can also be kind of finicky. You gotta really be keeping a watch of it to make sure that you don't accidentally just run out of flight in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This part of the game was so tricky for me because they don't give you any hints of where the key is, and you just have to fall down a hole and figure out. Like, I remember when I was first figuring out this game, I could not find the key for the longest time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, it's really difficult. I literally had to look up a walkthrough of where is this key? How do I progress this level? Bonsai Gardens is especially tricky.
Yeah. And so now now I can just like and him only has 8 hits, so the him fights are generally pretty fast. So I just need to do 5 damage with that and that. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, the him fights aren't too bad in this version.
Yeah. And where do I go again? This is very similar to like. I think you go to the top. This is very similar to how it is in Paint Townsville Green, so I kind of get these like mixed up. I don't think this is where to go. I'm gonna actually because I don't think that's the right way
goofy. I like that graffiti. I'd never seen that graffiti before.
Yeah, but I think you have to go up here, but. This is it's definitely pretty easy to get lost in this game. I need to get this key.
Yes.
I would have had to, like, it would have just said the door was locked if I would have tried to go.
Yes, so it was smart of you to reset the level and just, get back on track and get that key. Super smart.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I'd have to retry level at some point. Oh wait, no, this isn't. I need to go to the window here, and it can be really easy to just. And if you get hit, honestly, the worst thing about getting hit is that you don't get any more stamina, so that can be kind of annoying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big annoyance is if you're, I want to be on the ground recovering, and you're just not getting your flight speed back. It's like...
Yeah.
So picking up more phones, because we have a fight pretty much at all these levels, and so we want to be picking up phones as we go past them.
Yeah, I think now I want to start like getting ready for the next screen because even when the bar looks full, there's still a little bit more you have to refill before you can fly fully. So that's a little tricky to know things like that.
You have to have max plus meter basically to get over that.
Yeah.
The animation you're seeing when she is out of flight speed, she's basically like, she is like just flapping her arms to try and like slow herself down, I suppose. It's a very silly animation.
You will not convince me that she's just not boogieing though. It looks too much like she's just dancing.
She is. She's just dancing.
Yeah, if you flap your arms hard enough, you will fly.
It's just science.
Yeah. Okay, where was it? Was it down here? I don't know if it was. Okay, I think it was. So that's
So
good. I did not get lost.
It's really easy to get lost in these inside areas because I have it written on my splits. Like, go inside here, down 2 right, down up right. Like, I have it all laid out because it can be very easy to get lost, especially when you're running all 3 games at the same time, which both me and Garby do. They look very similar.
Yeah.
So one thing
so we're getting close to a pretty cool. Getting close to a pretty cool boss. Get y'all's jam emotes out.
Yes, we're going to the disco. It is time to jam.
I had to show this off, even though it'll lose time. If he hits you, you'll just jam.
Yeah, if you get hit by the disco thing, you will literally just dance. It's adorable.
Yeah. So I think with one more hit and 9, I can use this phone. And also the hitboxes here are kind of finicky. So if you use the Chemical X, it's actually really hard to hit the boogeyman. So you don't want to use it in this fight. So yeah. And now we're going to Pokeoks, but oh no, they're like kidding us. Where did I go again?
Mood.
But hopefully I'm going the right way. I think I want to go back up in a little bit. So, like I think in this screen. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Pokeoks you'll see in this game and the next game. You have to go specific, like sometimes you do go upstairs, sometimes you need to go downstairs. And a lot of the screens look very similar, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, like, how similar they are definitely makes it tricky to keep them in your head. Like, I did run these games quite a bit, but after running one, I tend to lose memory of how the other one works. Because they're just so similar.
Yeah. Especially with these vent areas, it can be very... The vents are like shortcuts to get throughout the school, and you'll see them show up later in the museum level. It can be very difficult to know where to go with those.
Yeah, and we're getting close to something that I think is probably like a sequence break. There's somewhere where there's a locked door, but you can just fly over the locked door. You'll see it in a little bit in this level.
I shall simply fly over it.
So, like, I guess I'll kind of show it off. So, like, there's like this. Wait, no, it doesn't say that there, but you can just fly over this.
Yeah, there's like a whole entire inside, and you can just fly right over it.
But we're getting pretty close to the next gym fight, and I already have like a Buttercup Punch, and there's a Chemical X, but it's a little out of the way, so I don't think I need to like get it here. Like, you see, there's a whole lot in this section.
Yeah, apparently the Sandcastle Mansion that we just flew through.
Oh no. Okay, there we go. And one thing you have to be careful of is if the secret's on the screen, it is possible to accidentally hit that instead of him, so you have to be careful with how you do it.
Is there any way to target who you're hitting with, or just it's a chance of anybody on the screen?
I think it's just a chance of anyone on the screen. Yeah, I don't think there's really a way to target it, unfortunately, except to get the enemy off the enemy off the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I got that phone, but the phone isn't necessary because the boss fight here is pretty interesting, I'll say that.
I love this boss fight! It's so good!
Yeah...
This is a really huge speedrunning strat we're gonna see at the end of this level. Typically, for this boss fight, this clown puts paint, and you have to go all the way around in a big circle and get behind it. We're not gonna do any of that. You're gonna see what Garby does. It's pretty awesome.
Where does this one go? I think it is, no, never mind. I shouldn't be trying this way.
Yeah, getting lost in these vents is so easy to do, because it's really not obvious which way you're supposed to be going. But this is looking good, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is when I wanted to go to the left, not at the other section. I knew there was some time I had to go there, but yeah, it's kind of easy to get lost in the vents.
There's Miss Kian.
And yeah, so we just rescued Miss Team, and now and that lets us go to like the boss fight that's going to be coming up in not too long.
Now we kind of have to backtrack our way to the rest of the level, which is kind of interesting. There's a lot of ways you can... This level like loops in many ways, which is really interesting. It's not linear at all.
Yeah, it's kind of not linear, yeah, but we're getting pretty close to the boss fight, and normally what you're supposed to do in this boss fight is like go around there and then go back to hit the clown, but you can just do that.
Yep, you can just hit him with Chemical X and done. It's so good. Like,
yeah, it's...
There's this entire maze section where you have to run to the right, and then above into the ceiling, and then behind the clown. No.
Yeah, so
Great
it's just a really quick fight. And so that's... And I think if you die at that fight, like, the screen turns pink, if I remember correctly. And so it's possible for the screen to just get glitched, so that's the thing.
Your entire screen can just go pink sometimes. That happened to me. It was a lot.
Yeah. But this is the final level. It's probably the longest level in this game because there's a pretty long train section that's close to a minute where I'm just going to be going through headwind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty long section. And flying like this does speed this section up a little bit, but you have to make sure to be on the ground long enough to get some flight meter.
Yeah, this section's really tricky because it's like you have to have full flight meter to get between each of the train cars, but you do want to, it saves a lot of speed to be kind of bouncing like this, so big bouncing act here with our flight meter.
Yeah. But kind of just like grooving.
Yeah, we're just bopping.
Bubbles just vibing this entire time.
She's just grooving. She's still at the disco in her head, you know?
Yeah. But I think we're pretty close to the end of this section. Yeah, I think this indicates that we're just about at the end of this section. And we're gonna be... And oh no, the train collapsed. But now we need to fight him. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like a different form, but it's still only 8 hits, so it's still a pretty quick fight with the buttercup plant I just got.
I like how Bubbles' reaction to Mayor crashing a train is silly, Mayor.
Silly Mayor! Right? Like, oh, silly person that runs our town.
I know.
It's great. This him fight is definitely a departure from the previous him fights in this game, as you will see.
But we're almost at the him fight, I think. There's a lot of bottomless pits around there, so I do want to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of stopping on the platforms, but this is the final boss. It's a pretty short final boss, so there's 1 and 2. Oh, that's fine.
It was just huge.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you can stand on him's head to get flight back? I haven't seen that strat before.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Usually I would fly back to the little claw things, but you can just... Oh, that's great.
Oh, and that was
And that's
time. Sorry for
time.
not saying it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could just stand on him's head. That was great.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot quicker of a fight than one in Bad Mojo Jojo, but that's kind of nice that it's a quicker fight. But
Awesome.
let's see if I got it. What trading cards I got? Oh, I got the clown. There is where the clown is.
Rainbow the Clown, yes!
And I think the clown's name is Mr. Mime, canonically, if I remember correctly.
I think it is. I remember that episode.
I just remember that episode because the song with Bubbles and love
Yes,
makes the world
it's so
go round.
good. I love
It's
that
so
song.
good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That episode and the hardcore episode, two of my favorites.
Bubbles episodes
Yeah.
tend to be very good.
Yes. Ready for the third final game of the trilogy?
Yeah, this will be fun. We're going to now. We're going to be going to Powerpuff Girls Pink Townsville Green. I believe this was released second after Bad Mojo Jojo, but I decided to do it this last because of the difficulty.
Yeah, this one's really tough. Which is because Buttercup is the toughest of the three girls. But we're gonna be fighting the Green Gang throughout this, as the theme of this episode.
Yeah. So I guess whenever we can do a countdown.
All right, let's get to it in 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Thanks. And oh yay, a trading card.
Yeah, it's actually time lost to get the trading cards, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is. So even though this is long time, the first level is really short. It's only like a minute and 15 seconds or so. So it's really quick. We just need to rescue. I forget who it is in this guy. It's Miss Keene.
Yeah, this level's very short compared to a lot of the other levels in the trilogy. It's really interesting. I think they expect you to get a lot more lost, but it's a pretty linear path here.
Yeah.
I love that you're picking up Buttercup phones in the Buttercup game.
It's so funny that you can call yourself. It makes you'll see it happen because we need to do it in a lot of the fights. But you'll call yourself, and then yourself will fly on screen, and then you will reappear. It is so silly. Like yep,
that, yeah.
Yep. And then we're back. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Is it a clone? I really can't tell.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing that I do is that if you hit an enemy when they're like visibly hurt, you'll deal 1 less damage. But here I'll still be wanting to do that because the hitboxes are finicky. So it is possible that if the enemy's in the attack animation, I won't be able to attack with the phone. So it's something I want to be careful of.
Yeah, it can be safer to attack the enemies when they're in the stun animation, even if it doesn't do as much damage.
Hey, Buttercup. Yeah, Buttercup. Let's punch someone!
Honestly.
Yeah.
It seems like
We're
a
back
pretty
in the subway.
realistic interaction between Buttercup and Buttercup clone, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds real.
Yeah. And so one thing with this game, if you go in that one, that'll just make you take a death because the wind will push you off the screen. So it's kind of mean like that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The way those train seats were textured, it made it look like they had teeth. And I was a little bit concerned.
Yeah, it's a little bit concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of just doing what we did in the last level of Battle Him. Just kind of doing this. Just vibing.
Yep, same strategy as the other train level with this very clear wind graphic, as you can see. Ah, yes, that is wind. Understood.
Yeah. And so now we're going to be having to head back through the train, but we need to rescue... Honestly, with the 3 games, I kind of get lost of who exactly we end up rescuing. I want to say it's the dog in this one.
I think we rescue the dog in this level, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2 phones is all I need. So even though there's a Buttercup phone here, I won't be needing to get it because I already have enough to do this level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty surprising we actually don't need that Buttercup phone, but that's just the boss at the end of this level just really doesn't have that much health. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, someone in chat is bringing this up, and it is something that impresses me as well, that Garby's been on a couple different shows recently for a lot of wildly different games. Garby just plays so many different speedruns.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I like running a lot of, like, different games. It's a lot of fun, and it's also cool, not, like, I kind of prefer, like, running a lot of games rather than just optimizing a few, because, I don't know, it's kind of less stressful. And hey, that feeling of a free PB.
Yeah.
I like that too. That's why I've been having a lot of fun running the Powerpuff Girls games with Garby, because we just, go back and forth, and it's really friendly between us. Like, no one else is really running these games right now, and it's just, like, fun to go through and find new stuff for games that are, like, 20 years old at this point.
Yeah. Alright, so time for the art museum. Let's see if I remember how to do this after doing the other art museum.
This art museum, Buttercup's art museum is hard to navigate.
Yeah. I forget. I don't think I go up here yet. No, there's no area up here. And you'll see there are, like, some sound bites whenever you rescue an enemy. So, yay, voice acting on GBC.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that's really necessary, but that will help to get a boss in there. Some of the boss fights coming up can be pretty tricky. And sometimes you'll have to face multiple enemies in one boss fight, like in the boss fight coming up. So that's also tricky. And I think I go up here in this one. Yeah, I go back to the left to rescue, I think, the professor.
I think it's the professor in this level, yeah.
Yeah.
I do love all the graffiti on the walls throughout this game. It kind of sets this one apart from the other two, stylistically. I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah, the graffiti is definitely, like, a nice touch, yeah.
Because it's the gangrene games thing, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah. But we're close to the boss. There's, like, a phone hidden in here, so I want to get that. And so we're heading to the boss, and there's, like, 2 enemies I need to fight here, so I'm just gonna use these phones right here. They'll deal 5 damage apiece. Big Billy has 16 HP, and I think Little Arturo has 8, so it's technically most awful to attack Billy with all the 3 phones.
That makes sense. This is probably my hardest fight, and we're gonna fight them twice in this, because it's really tough to balance fighting Big Billy, but also Arturo is up in the air, so you have to fly up and hit while Arturo is moving. It's very easy for Arturo to just kind of snipe you and for you to miss. So this is a pretty tough fight to do quickly. But that was really clean.
Yeah, that fight can be tricky, but I'm happy with how that went.
Yeah, that was great.
And one thing that probably doesn't look that tough, but that is deceptively hard, is entering the hearts after the level. You complete the level.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think it's only like a few pixels, I think, to enter the hearts, so you have to be... And the flying is kind of... There's like a lot of, like, slipperiness to it. Wait, is this... I don't know if this is where to go. I'm gonna try going somewhere else. Yeah, I think you go to the bottom. So, I'm just gonna go back.
The houses are impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. This might be one. I don't know if I'd say that's hardest level, but there is something tricky later on in this level.
It seems difficult for me to run 3 games like this that are so similar and keep track of these maze-like levels for all 3 ones,
Yeah.
Like, Gar's been putting a lot of practice, and I have, like, extensive notes on my splits that tell me exactly where to go in levels like this, because I do not trust my brain to remember.
Yeah, I do that a lot with notes on my splits.
Yeah, I just like it to help me get through.
Yeah, that definitely helps, having notes on splits. Oh wait, no, this isn't technically the way to go, but getting that phone will still help for the boss fight later on. So it's not too bad to go that way instantly. And so that wrestler there, it is possible that he can grab you, and that loses probably about 5 or so seconds. So
yeah, it's a long animation, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think here I need to have left to rescue. I think that in this level the gangrene getting dressed up as your friends.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They're like in disguise. But you see Miss Bellum's face, so it's obviously a fake. No one knows what Miss Bellum looks like.
Oh wait, I need full flight for this part.
I appreciate in the other game they had her standing at the top of the screen so that you still didn't see her face.
Yeah, it's so funny. it's so good.
Yeah. And like, if you like take damage when you're about to go to another screen, it keeps the damage, and you do the animation again in the next screen. So. But we're heading to probably the most frustrating part of this run, I'd say.
This part is extremely difficult because we're in the air and you have to kind of sneak around this, and the kill plane is really close to where you are as Buttercup. First try, well done. That was really good.
Thanks. Also, like,
and
the hitbox of the thing that's above you is really big, so it's possible to hit that when it doesn't even look like you're touching it. So you
can get stuck on the beam. It's terrible. And then you get sent all the way back to the fake Miss Bellum. I've definitely gotten to a death loop cycle there. It's really difficult.
And I don't like the cell, so I'm getting more health. I want to be careful. This is pretty tricky, so I think it's 16, so I want to deal 6 hits things to bones.
Hi, Fuzzy.
Hi, Fuzzy.
Oh, this is scary. This is really, really scary.
You're good. Everything. You got this. You got this.
Thanks. There's no health there. How do I want to even? I want to. Well, heck!
Oh no.
Okay, I'm
getting
gonna
a
get the
little
health.
bit of a showcase of how tough these. Garby makes these games look really easy. She hasn't died until right now in the entire trilogy, and that in itself is very impressive. That was tough.
And also, that's never happened before, so hey, we got that in there.
Nice.
Yay, she
Also,
said the thing.
I meant to get the phone, but I didn't, so let's get it right here.
There we go, yeah.
I fell down, so I thought I shouldn't get to that point, but it is possible to also stun lock the first phase of that boss, but if he does the punching attack, but he didn't do that there.
Yeah, you can kind of just sit there and keep punching and it won't move, which is optimal. But again, there is RNG in this game.
Yeah. But, so we're just kind of heading back. Let's hope this part is annoying this time.
Yeah.
We have to repeat this part again, so that's a little unfortunate. I mean, I did kind of want to show off how it can be main, so... There's that! So, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, that can happen. I'm kind of...
Yeah, the good thing is if you get stuck and recognize it, you can fly back and try again.
Oh my god, why is it so low?
It's terrible!
Oh, the death plate is so high! Wow!
The death plate is so high, and you can get so easily stuck on that thing. It is so rough. This is one of the reasons, like, this is one of the hardest games. Like, this is the hardest game of the trilogy, and a big reason is literally just that beam in the sky.
Yeah, Garby made it look so easy the first time. I didn't, like, realize how tight of a space that is.
It's very tight.
Yeah, that's definitely really, really tight. But yeah, you'll notice that I'm on 0 lives, so I'm a little nervous, but as long as
that's why this one has a higher estimate than the other two, just because that can be very tricky, and a lot of these boss fights are really tough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never beat any of these as a kid. I had the Blossom one, and my friend had the Bubbles one, and I couldn't beat them. These are extremely difficult games.
Yeah. Okay, so let's... Yes!
Alright, there we go. Good stuff. The good thing is if you get underneath it, those are flight adders, so you'll always make it as long as you actually get under the beam itself.
I'm just trying to thread that needle to begin with. That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. Yep.
Is there an alternate route, or is that just required?
You have to go that way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
These games are not easy.
That's so mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have, like... Also, what makes this tricky is that the hitbox of Fuzzy is pretty, like...
It's Pretty
It's a little
unfortunate.
You'll see that I'm
Looks smaller than his sprite by a significant margin.
By a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So what time are we at right now?
We're
Just about to hit
14.
14.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait, 14 for this game? We
Yeah, for
might
this
not make us. We might not meet estimate, unfortunately, but
You were well
That's
under for the
okay.
other two, so if we're kind of considering it as all three together, you should be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because this level's like almost 5 minutes. It is a really long level.
Mhm. I just didn't want to
This
keep the
level's-
timer running in between because we were kind of chatting and I didn't want to put pressure on you to start the games instantly, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, no, I don't think this is where to go. I think I want to go up here first.
So Townsville Dump is one of the hardest levels in the trilogy, and it features, I believe, 3 or 4 separate boss fights within it.
Wow.
You basically have the culmination. You have to fight every single member of the Gangrene Gang again. And so we're gonna see Garby picking up the phones to get ready. And so phone usage in this level is really interesting. So you gotta save it for when you really need it the most.
Yeah, there's like a boss fight that's going to come up, but I don't want to use it for that fight.
Yeah, you want to save them for one of the later fights.
How tricky is health management in this stage if there's that many boss fights?
There's a good amount of health pickups overall.
Okay.
And the good thing is, since, as Garby mentioned previously, the lives refresh. So she was at 0 at the end of the last stage, but we're back to 2. And every single boss fight that you beat gives you a checkpoint. So it's actually not as huge of a deal. And there's a lot of health pickups throughout the level, luckily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's at least nice.
Yeah, it's more of a figuring out how to optimize these fights that makes this a tricky part of the run. Instead of like the previous level was more of a just the deaths are what's really scary about it.
I like that you're just
Yeah,
kicking
here you can
Snake
just
in the
be-
ankles.
Yep.
Yeah!
Just kick.
The positioning of that can be a little bit tricky, so I'm really happy with how that fight went.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and so now we need to head back and fight. We need to refight Big Billy and Little Arturo in like a house. And it does look like you can skip it, but if you try to skip it, it'll just say the door's locked when you try to fight Ace.
Yeah, so it's a required fight. Unfortunately, I can't skip that. That would be really helpful if we could.
Yeah, it would save a whole lot of time if we could skip that fight. Yeah, because it's one of the longer fights in this game, and I don't think we only have 2 Buttercup phones here, so that makes it a little bit longer as well.
Little Arturo is always my favorite Gangrene gang member.
Yeah, I like Arturo.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're getting pretty close to the last fight, at least. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love the Powerpuff Girls games. I'm excited to learn even more. I think the next one I want to learn is a Powerpuff Girls Metroidvania called Defenders of Townsville. It's a really good casual
Wow.
game, and it's super fun. I want to learn the speedrun to it next, because there's actually some really cool glitches within it that have been routed, so I'm excited.
Just
Yeah.
the phrase Powerpuff Girls Metroidvania makes me very curious.
Yeah! You have to hit me up. It's a really good game. It's really fun.
Yeah, I need to get back to playing that. It seems like a lot of fun. Like a Metroidvania Powerpuff Girls game is an awesome idea.
Yeah, it's really good. The girls get different power-ups, and all 3 of them have different abilities, and you travel through different areas. It's really good.
Yeah, and here you see like it can be kind of tricky to hit Little Arturo.
Yeah,
you
Arturo's
can't
going
land
back
up
and forth.
there. Okay, that's mean.
Yeah, you have to fly correctly, not get hit, and punch at the right time. It's actually really difficult to hit Arturo up there.
And so we're heading to probably what is a really, really hard boss fight. Oh, did that even work? Okay, good, it did. And so, since this is such a hard game, I bet you think the final boss will be just so hard.
You would think, but here we go. You literally just sit here and stun lock Ace.
Yep.
It's amazing.
And so we're about to get to the hard after the 12 hits and Town be after it. So their history and hey, this swag trading card, why not? And time.
Nice.
And here are the trading cards.
Yeah,
and,
Buttercup!
Yeah.
and that's the gangrene gang. But that was a lot of fun.
Great run, even though the beam was very rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beam was so mean. I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
that difficult at first because you got it first try on the first time through.
Yeah, it can be mean if it's so easy for that part to go wrong, but that was a lot of fun. Thanks Flagon for being on commentary. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been so much fun running these games with you. So if anyone out there wants to learn some Powerpuff Girls games, we have a lot of intel and information, and the series is just really fun to run. We're always looking for new people, and they're, really, really great speed games. So thanks so much for having us, and I'm excited for the rest of the showcase tonight.
Yeah, and where can people find you two if they want to check out more content from the both of you?
Want to go ahead, Garvey?
Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/Garvey the Glitcherous.
Awesome. Yeah, I speedrun a bunch of stuff, primarily actually Celeste, and Powerpuff Girls games and Hamtaro games. Lots of cartoon stuff. You can find me on Twitch at FrozenFlyGun and also on Twitter at FrozenFlyGun, where I post all my schedules and stuff. So yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
So next up we've got Kate Lib C, who's going to be playing Mickey Mouse and the Castle of Illusion for us. It'll be fun, so stick around. We're going to have that. And then after that, we're going to have Air Angel on, who's going to be playing Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon R, which is a Sailor Moon brawler that I'd never seen before, but is really cool. So we're kind of through the Powerpuff Girl games, but we've got two more awesome women coming on showing us cartoon games. So stick around. We're going to take another quick break while we get Castle of Illusion set up.
Yay. Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
so much for having us. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We have swapped over to Kate Libsey. I might call her Carrie because she has her username as Carriad on a few places as well. So apologies if that gets a little bit confusing while we're here. But she's going to be running Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse for us today. And how are you doing today, Kate?
I'm not doing too bad. It's Monday, start of a nice week. Spring is almost here, and I get to play the first game I ever speedrun, which actually I started speedrunning a year ago.
Nice. Why don't you give us the introduction? If people have never seen this game before, like what would your elevator pitch be for it?
So it's actually part of a number of games that came out from Disney in the 90s. Legend of, Castle of, Illusion of, yeah, that's the other one. This game in particular, excuse me, came out for the Game Gear in North America and Japan, but actually came out in Brazil for the Master System. So this is actually a port of a Game Gear game to the Master System as opposed to the other way around. And as a result, this game is really weird to play in contrast to the Game Gear version. But the big elevator pitch I'm going to make for this, in contrast to the weirdness of this game, is that I like to joke that it's Kingdom Hearts 0. And I will explain at the very end of the game why. So if you're ready and I'm ready, I can definitely start getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, so I'll count down. It'll be in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So this is like one of the remnants of the Game Gear, and now we don't care. It's gone. So we're going to start off in a little town here. There's some fog, and we're just going to try and get through this as fast as possible. There's really, this level is just kind of here to teach you the mechanics of the game, and the mechanics are a little bit weird. For example, you'll notice the scrolling vertical is really weird. The scrolling is just inconsistent because, unlike the horizontal scrolling, you are just having the screen kind of force itself down in order for the game to progress. Nothing really much to say about it, but it's just weird that way. now we start getting into talking about the differences between the Game Gear and the Master System version. And you notice there was a Hornet there that just kind of flew off. In the Game Gear version, I could have damage boosted my way up the wall by just letting it sting me, by kind of like manipulating it to spawn again and this force way up to the top. I actually will use that technique a little bit later on, just to get over a wall. But the game is like a really cool way to kind of get into speedrunning. It's a very friendly platformer. There's lots of little quirks in it, of course, but I like it, and it's very much a classic Disney game, to say the least.
Oh, the game name didn't update. What the heck?
Oh no! I'm playing Powerpuff Girls then. This is Powerpuff Girls. This is Mickey Puff. So there was a pixel perfect jump that I didn't pull off there. You can actually clear it without having to do that whole magnet thing here. But unfortunately I didn't clear it, so whatever. So here we go. I'm going to warn everyone here, I'm actually going to get to the first boss fight in a sec here, and there's actually quite a bit of flashing, so as soon as I enter this door, just be forewarned here. So here we go, here's our first boss. Remember in the 90s we just allowed flashing like this in games?
Yeah. It's interesting because even some of the like older Nintendo stuff, like some of the later Nintendo stuff still does it, even after the whole Pokemon thing happened.
This game, I think, was like one of the later games that came up for the Master System, no less. Also, I just rescued King Goofy, so we now have King Goofy. Alright. So this is actually the level that terrifies me a little bit because I call it the Run Killer. So we'll find out in a sec here if I pull it off. Usually I do, but I do have like a backup if I have to correct my mistake here. So here comes the Run Killer. Nope, didn't happen. If I fell down there, it would have added like 30 seconds to the game. Let's do this. Oh, this is actually going better than expected. Famous last words, right?
Why would you say that?
Exactly. So here's like, this is a really annoying part because you want to try and get through there without getting hit. So because you want to do this afterward, just to kind of avoid swimming down, you can just kind of damage boost yourself all the way to the bottom.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So this part here is a little bit annoying. I don't like the Genesis D-pad very much, and this game really demonstrates the annoyances I have with the D-pad. Whoops. Which didn't happen here, but I still made a mistake, so whatever. And now we have King Donald. There we go. I've rescued the two kings we have here. So now we're going to go and meet a little fork in the road, and we're going to go through probably the longest stage in this game, which is Crystal Forest. And all we're doing is we're just exploring what is basically this. There's a couple of damage boosts that I can do through this level that might work out for me. Yep, perfect. I don't have to do that one. Let's see if we'll do the next one. Really, really simple game to pick up. If anyone's like looking for like that easy platformer that you know, permits you to pick up speedrunning, I highly recommend this, especially like for a game that is like, you know, available on multiple platforms and works great on a Genesis, which is what I'm doing here. So a couple things you got to do in this level is you got to pick up little prisms to reveal platforms. You also got to like destroy these little rocks here and to kind of make other platforms appear. So here comes another damage boost. There we go. Straightforward. And now we're going to go and swim a little bit here. If you meant, oops, sorry, I made a mistake there. If you remember from earlier, I made a remark about the scrolling being a little bit annoying, and it's going to come up not in this part here, but I believe after this door or the door after that. And I will be able to demonstrate this well. Yeah, here we go. So I'm actually going to walk here, and the main reason why is for whatever reason this section will actually scroll up if you attempt to swim. Another section here, you gotta destroy the boulders. If you do it right, you can do it in 2. Usually I do it in 3. Unfortunately, I did it in more than that. To get through all this. Another section here that's not particularly fun is you got a blind platform above you. If you jump too early, you're going to hit the ceiling, and then you're just going to fall through, and that's not pleasant. And you just got to wait for that platform to reappear. Through all that. Now we're going to have a lot of fun with damage boosting. So you can do this. Go through this. And there we go. So skip that whole part right there. Now we get to have the most ridiculous boss fight, and you'll see here in a sec. And there we go.
Roar!
It's literally just roar. So there's a little bit of manipulation you can do with the boss here. Sometimes throwing bubbles, which is what you're doing, because you're actually a laundry boy, by the way. You can manipulate where the cat goes based on where you throw the bubbles. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. So I'm going to stand in the center, and the cat is going to swoop down, and that's it. There's the boss.
I love the roar. It's so good.
It is perfect on so many levels. And now we get to do my favoriteest thing in the world. Who loves an auto-scroller? Because I'm certain that everyone here does.
Ooh, look at that parallax scrolling.
I know, on a Master System, no less. So, there's actually 2 ways to shoot bubbles in this game. You can actually make them bounce.
Wait, are we
So
just
we're gonna do
walking on
this.
water now?
I don't know what we're walking on. We're walking on sunshine.
I thought it was like a green field at first, and then a shark appeared, and now we're in the desert.
This is Mickey. I don't know, like...
Oh, now we're in a plane.
We're doing something. It's just, it's weird. Like, we got sharks coming out of, like, what I presume is water, and then it's snowing, and then you got fire coming out of the ground. Like, it's just, like, the most baffling situation ever. And there you go. There's our auto-scroller. We got one more auto-scroller after this, by the way.
Did you just bubble that skull and it turned into a mouse and ran away?
You shouldn't ask questions like that. Alright, so I'm gonna actually, like... I'm gonna take a hit here, and it's gonna actually stop the centipede from moving any further. Hit the top of the head. Take care of the shark here. Let it hit me again. It'll stop. And then jump up here. This is where the Game Gear also differs. Or the Game Gear, excuse me. You notice like this fire is going across the screen. On a Master System, that takes longer. On the Game Gear, it's like pretty quick. So that's like another key difference here. And there we go. Now we finish the boss. I can't wait to reveal the story about why this is Kingdom Hearts 0. All right. So we're gonna do a little damage boosting again. There we go. And we'll do it again. Whoops. Oh, come on. These mushrooms are terrible. Alright, so that's another one here. I don't think we need to do any more. Anything further is just me making mistakes, which is going to happen a lot in this game.
I find it amusing that me having fun with your green screen confused a few people in chat.
Oh, I know. I actually use this green screen when I work, and sometimes it throws off like all sorts of people. It's like, wait, what's going on? All right, here we go. So this is probably the most annoying aspect of this level is you got to float on up, and you got to go 1, 2, 3, land on the branch, do this again, do this again. If I missed any of them, I would have to basically go to the start of that section of the level, and it's just not fun. All right, time for another auto scroller. Can I get all the stars? Maybe. I've done it before. Nope. Okay, I'm not gonna try anymore.
Oh no!
So, it's okay. I'm only throwing soap to get rid of stars. Did you know that if you throw enough soap at the sun, it'll take it out? So, you get points, right, in this game. The points are absolutely meaningless, but you can get points for hitting the trees with soap. There's 100 points for each time you hit the trees with soap. I don't know why, but that's just a thing.
Maybe they're dirty trees. They just wanted to wash. I don't know.
I don't think we should be cleaning trees with soap, though. Like, surfactants and wood probably don't get along very well. So, there is a time save on this auto-scroller. If you just stay to the right on the very top, you'll basically save time, like half a second or whatever. Alright, time for the longest boss fight. You'd think the longest boss fight would be the final boss, but no, it's Gilgamesh? I can't remember the name of this guy anymore. So I'm just going to follow him back and forth. It takes about 6 hits on him. Let's see what happens here. No, just lightning. Whatever. So there's 2 attacks he'll do. We'll see if we can get one of them. No, it's going to be lightning. Come on, throw me something interesting. Lightning is boring.
He looks a bit like Pete in a trench coat.
There we go. He does look like Pete in a trench coat. So he shoots fireballs as well. And if you stay directly underneath him, he'll just shoot the fireball downward. And that actually saves a little bit of time as well. Not much, but just enough. There we go. So the next one should be the last one. It should throw like a green spiky thing. There we go. There we go. So now we're going to go fight dragon form. He's transformed into a dragon. Let's throw soap in his mouth, jump on a flame, and then land on his head. We're going to boop the dragon to death. So this is the longest boss fight, and it's ridiculous because it takes about 14 hits, and you take both stages into account. I think it's 14. It's definitely more than Pete, so it's either 14 or 16. And of course, Pete's the last boss here.
Of course.
Alright. I love this dragon so much.
I'm still eagerly anticipating the explanation.
Alright, here we go. Well, the one little hint I'll give is that this is the last of the Illusion series.
Okay.
And, oh god, it's escaping me when this game came out. Was it 96?
My Google said 1990. But
no, which one are you looking at?
Castle of Illusion.
This was Game Gear.
Oh,
Legend of
it's
Illusion.
some Master System.
Well, Master System port came out after this one. There we go. We're almost there. I actually usually lose track of how many boops I've done on the dragon, but usually I just time it to the music. Or when I make a mistake or something like that. Did you know that if you throw soap at fire, it encases them in bubbles?
That's some strong soap.
It's very strong soap. It'll clean fire.
Are you throwing soap at the fire, or are you just filling the dragon's mouth with soap so that when it tries to breathe, it becomes encased?
It's difficult to tell, let's be real here.
Because that'd be a lot of soap in the mouth.
Here's the other thing. Do mice wag their tails? Like, look at that.
I don't know if Xandra's in chat, but she's the person that I would ask about that.
There we go. Oh, okay, I didn't time it in. Okay, sometimes you can just break the dragon. So if you, like, time it right, you can just outright break the dragon and, like, make the entire, like, sprite disappear. Alright, so we're gonna go climb around here. We're gonna go down this mountain real quickly, assuming I don't screw up, which I did there. Let's see here. The happiest song in the whole game, by the way. Here we go. I really hate these ropes because... Oh, come on! I hate these ropes. Here we go. Alright, we're gonna go visit our friends. We made new friends, by the way. We have new friends. So we're gonna go to Tree of Life. Alright, bye friends. And now we're gonna go and play the final boss. Mick. Alright, we got Mick. Sometimes you can just outright skip that. Alright, so we're gonna take 12 hits on Pete. Every time you hit him, he's gonna charge at you. If you miss him, he might just throw another... Oh, see right there? He might throw another bomb at you, or he might nod his head. In this case here, he decided to charge me. It's alright, there we go, I got 2. 3. It's wearing Santa Claus's outfit, by the way, with jeans. 4. He's very terrible at running. 5. Alright.
It's impressive because he's like kicking up a ton of dust while he runs, but not actually moving that fast.
It's aristocratic dust, don't worry about it. That's 7. More like he's just kind of shuffling his feet. It's, what is that, 8 I said, I think? I think that's 8. That's 9. We're aiming for 12. 10? Come on, Santa Claus.
Why is he Santa Claus? I don't understand.
I don't know. He has terrible taste in fashion. And 12, and time. And that is Legend of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. So why is this Kingdom Hearts 0?
Hit me with
and
it.
The main reason for it is that this is the game where Mickey becomes king.
Okay.
And as a result, the joke that a couple of friends and I have made about this game is that because Mickey becomes king in this game, and because of how Kingdom Hearts came out, I can't remember when Kingdom Hearts came out. Was it 03, 04? And this game was 96, 97? I don't remember. And at Buckingham Palace, by the way. Because of that, I like to joke that, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 0 is Legend of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse.
Looks like
so,
2002 for Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so I buy into it. For the record, we did not kill King Pete. King Pete is basically gone to jail. We did not commit regicide. And King Mickey renamed the whole kingdom the Kingdom of Mickey.
All right, so I've heard back from a resident mouse expert, Zandra, who says, I don't know in all caps, but I think they use their tails for balance. So maybe Mickey was just balancing while ducking.
That's a really bizarre... Biology's weird. Anyway. But yeah, if you ever want to try a really simple game for speedrunning, by all means pick this up. I didn't ask, what was my time for this game?
You got a 16:37.
What is my record for this game, actually? Actually, 16:37 is extremely low for me. I'm going to quickly take a look at that, because if that's a PB, I'll be impressed. I don't think it is, but that might be a PB. No, sorry, it was 1640 what?
16:37.
Oh, no, I was 10 seconds off my PB. All right, that's dang. Okay. Yeah,
good run, though.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't have much else to add, but thanks for having me on. And if anyone wants to follow my weird games, I'm on Twitch pretty frequently, and there's other games I speedrun these days, but this one definitely has a place in my heart.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, showing off some Mickey Mouse. We were kind of throwing together a cartoon episode, and people were like, bring on Kate. Kate's awesome. So I'm glad you're able to make it. We've got...
Yeah, I was that too.
Yeah, thank you for making it on. And of course, we've got one more run coming up. It's going to be Air Angel playing... let me pull up the names so I don't get it wrong. Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon R. Chibi % normal, and it's a Sailor Moon brawler. It's heckin' adorable. You want to see this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, Air Angel is always fun to have on the show as well. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to get that all set up. Just as a quick reminder, this is the Community Spotlight. We showcase games that don't always get, the spotlight, so to speak, or categories that don't get as much attention. And if you think you know a game that would be a good fit for the show, you can type ! Spotlight in chat. There's a form you can fill out to let us know games you'd like to see on this show. We'd love to hear from you. But we're going to be back in just a few minutes with Air Angel and Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon R. So stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We have had a fun night of cartoon games speedruns. We featured Frozen Flygon, Garby the Glittress, and Kate Lib C, and now we're on to our final run here by Air Angel. It's Bishoujo Senshi, Sailor Moon R, Chibi%, normal difficulty. Why don't you give us a rundown of this game? Because it's a brawler, but well, how would you explain this game to people if they hadn't seen it before?
Okay, so it's a mixture between... Actually, it's basically just a super kawaii Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To be completely honest.
That's great.
But the category I'm going to be running today is in fact called Chibi%, and the reason is so you can play this game in multiple modes. You can play it as a regular Sailor Moon and Sailor Scouts. It's a lot more difficult. Or you could play as Chibi%, as we're going to be playing as Chibi-Usa, which is a lot of people know her as like the tiny pink hair girl, but her name translates into small Usagi or small rabbit. So we're going to be playing as her today. I'll talk about the differences between the modes while I play, but I hope y'all are ready for some authentic kawaii. I am playing this on an actual Super Famicom cart. On a console, because I finally got my setup all good to go, so I'm super excited about this run. And I need all of the hearts and rainbows in chat, because everybody knows kawaii games go a lot better when there's hearts and rainbows in chat. So spam away, chat.
Sounds good. Why don't you give us a countdown when you're ready to go?
All right, so let's set this up. And 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so yes, we're going to be playing as Chibi-Usa. And to get some of the lore, this takes place during the Sailor Moon R quote-unquote universe. Around volume 4, for those that are more familiar with the manga, I'm actually rereading the manga right now, so I will do my best to catch up with the anime in the future, but I am rereading the manga. So in terms of the manga, the lore is this. So Chibi-Usa falls from the sky, and they're like, who is this? And she like points a gun at Usagi and her boyfriend, aka Tuxedo Mask. And they're like, oh my gosh, who's this girl? And then a lot of this other stuff starts happening. There's a clan called Black Moon that is trying to take over the world with their nastiness, and we need to try to stop them. The one thing with this game, in particular with any kind of brawler, you want to sort of group your enemies together and have them not go off screen like I did a couple times there. But yeah, so the lure, that happens, and so that's basically where we are right now in terms of this story. Now in terms of the gameplay, you see I am using a parasol. Yes, I am hitting enemies with the umbrella. I am not making this up. This is live. This is an actual game. This is Chibi%. This is ultra kawaii. So yeah, we have different kinds of attacks. We have the upwards attack, we have the downwards attack, and we also have the special spin attack, but that also deals damage to your person. No matter if you're playing on Chibi% or the regular Senshi when you're playing the other Sailor Scouts. The one thing with using Chibi-Usa, you can't use, you can usually hold the enemies and fight them that way when you use the other Senshi, but obviously she's so tiny, like she can't hold them. And another thing to note, you guys notice that most of the time my energy bar is going down, mainly because I'm using the spin attack. Yes, that is correct. Because the enemies could barely touch you. There's only a couple enemies in this category that can touch you, including these baton / curling iron wielding ladies, as it were. So yeah, we don't really get attacked by many things. But the main thing with moderating the damage, obviously you don't want to die too many times, because then there is a death animation during one of the parts of the game. It doesn't really matter because we could just negate the death animation, and I'll explain that when we get there. But so managing health, and at the very top of my screen, you'll see there's 2 ribbons of sorts. That is going to be our special attack, like the ultra special attack, ultra super mega special attack, I guess. and I'll let y'all know when we get there in terms of using it. So now we went from a school fair to we're going shopping, but we still have bad guys on our tail. So now we're just in the middle of Christmas time, it seems, or like winter-esque. We just want to do some shopping, and these people are coming out and trying to take over the world. It's a mess. Pickups are usually food items. If you see ribbons on the ground, that means that they are the uber super also awesome special attack, which I'll show y'all. That is not the official term, that's just what I'm calling it today. So super uber awesome special attack. And of course, just like all of the other 90s games, they come in different food variations, from chicken wings to McDonald's French fries, or Whack-Donald's French fries, as it were, and like lollipops and stuff. Or coffee. So this is the super special attack. This is our Luna P. She's like a little robot ball thing. And you'll also realize that Chibiusa doesn't have her Sailor Senshi gear on. Well, that's because, more lore for chat, she doesn't get her superpowers, quote unquote, her transformation power set up until after the whole Crystal Tokyo incident and after the whole Nemesis incident, which I will sort of discuss after. That's the first time I got hit after we do this. Yeah, so if you jump into enemies, they can hit you. And I know I'm talking a lot, so let me know if y'all have any questions in chat. Let me know what who your favorite Sailor Scout is and why, because that is important information and we all need to know that. So this is the first boss. Basically what I'm gonna do a little bit of a quote-unquote marathon safe strat, and I'm just going to hit her while she's out of bounds. Because if she comes out into the middle at all, she can just start dancing and then her goons will appear. We will lose time. So we don't want to do that. There is a strat where you can basically stun lock her and just hit down over and over. I just learned that the other day. It's very dangerous, so I'm not gonna do that right now. And that was the first boss! Emerald is down.
I just want to point out that it's also very thematic that you're playing Chibi%, because kind of the entire goal of Dark Moon is they're trying to capture Chibi.
Right. That's the whole point.
So having this entire game of them chasing her around just makes sense when you're playing as her.
Right. Oh, and also you get graded for every level, so if you wanted some sense of accomplishment, you can get graded, I guess, but then if you do bad, it kind of feels bad, man. So it's like, alright. But we did good, we got an A! Alright, so now we're in this enchanted forest of sorts. It's actually supposed to be like an amusement park, so like, think of like an enchanted fantasy land amusement park. That's where we are. These roly-poly guys are the worst in the world. I do not like them. So if I just express extreme anger I'm just gonna call them the roly-poly guys, because that's just the unofficial official term for me. With those, they can obviously hit you because they're on the ground. I guess that's the main reason why I don't like them. What else can I talk about this game? It came out in 1993, so it's almost as old as I am, so it's amazing. I think, in terms of the hitboxes, they're actually pretty decent. The first Sailor Moon game, I will warn you, it is very bad. It is not... The hitboxes are atrocious. To the point where, like, I used to speedrun, so there is a category called Easy Percent, so we were playing this on normal, which means we're going to play the entire game. And there's a harder difficulty, etc. But there is an easy percent, which means you only play the first two levels, so to speak, of the game, and the enemies are a lot easier to defeat. So if you're trying to learn this game, I recommend Chibi% or Easy %. This is also a really good co-op game. The standalone game with the like Sailor Moon and the other Sailor Scouts, is actually fairly difficult with one person, in my opinion. But is super fun co-op. And for social distance fun, there's an app called Parsec you could run on your computer if you want to run some co-op games with your friends. My friend Deus Ruina and I are 3rd place in the co-op category, and I actually just got 3rd place for this category today. Technically,
oh, nice.
I got a PB last week, but it was verified today, so very awesome. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so with the first Sailor Moon game, it was so bad that I ran it on easy percent, and then I just decided I'm done. Alright, so we gotta wait till all of these are on screen because it's a lot easier to use this year. But yeah, the hitboxes are bad. The game itself could be so much better if the hitboxes were just so atrocious. There's literally one boss that, like, you're standing right next to him on the same plane of field, and his hitbox is sort of like a hit or miss. If anybody's familiar with the game, it's like the cat boss, quote unquote, and you don't even know if you're gonna hit him or not. There's a 50-50 chance that you're gonna hit him or not. Anyways, so this is the raft section, and basically you just want them off your boat. Oh, I just fell off the boat, that's fine. A good thing about this portion, I can basically just use my spin move all I want, because I can use the lack of death animation here to save frames and save time, so to speak, because if you die outside of this level, or section I should say, you do get a death animation, and it takes forever, and it's kind of sad because she's just like crying for her mom, and it's really sad. So I try not to die in the other levels because it's just, it breaks my heart. I don't want to make her upset. So yeah, we're gonna try not to do that. No promises though. Mainly because we want to go into the final boss, or like the boss levels, the boss of each level section with moderately high health, because we want to do the spin attack to the bosses, sort of like we have done the first time with Emerald. And if I don't have enough attack power or HP, so to speak, I can't do that because I use HP to do that. So gotta make sure you have enough health for it, or else it's a no-go. So I'm actually gonna do this. There is a rose coming up, so the pickups have different levels of healing, so to speak. The rose from Tuxedo Mask probably is the one that gives you the most HP, and then the rest of them vary. The second most, I think, is actually a chicken wing, or like a chicken, like a whole chicken. I don't know why, but if you get a whole chicken, you're good. So we're just gonna do this real quick. And onto this boss, we're just gonna sit here and twirl, because that's the easiest way to do that.
Oh, I forgot his name.
And this is Sapphire. And yeah, that's it. That's what you do with this boss, and it's pretty great. And you kind of do that with the boss and the regular playthrough with the Sailor Scouts as well.
What's the input for that spin move? Like, how difficult is that to pull off?
It's just A.
Oh, okay.
A is the spin move, Y is regular attack, B is jump, and then X is the super ultra attack. If you will. Super ultra, super awesome attack. Alright, so we are now in Crystal Tokyo. I need that enemy to come on screen. So yeah, Tokyo's crystallized. More lore! So at this point, Sailor Moon is sort of in a cocoon of sorts in crystal, protecting herself because she sort of had to protect the world from something that happened. It like sort of blew up, but then turned into crystal. There's a lot going on.
And it's also like in the future where Chibi is from.
And... yeah, so that's also when obviously Sailor Pluto comes into play. With the door and the time key kind of thing. It's very sad. I don't want to cry right now. so I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna say anything else because spoilers if anybody wants to watch the anime or read it. Because I'm on volume 6 right now, so that was volume 6 is basically after this whole incident. And if anybody's familiar with like the Dark Queen incident where Chibiusa turns into a nasty lady. Anyways, or lore that I don't want to spoil it for you all. Oh yeah, these baton ladies can hit you, by the way. One of the very few things that can hit you is the baton ladies. And it's so random because they could barely clear your head, but oh no, they can still hit you. Anyways, it's also I failed to mention this, but it's also a lot quicker if you sort of jump walk. So if you jump from screen to screen, it's a lot faster than just straight up walking. So we just hop in everywhere. It is more difficult to go up. Like if I needed to go up to like a different lane, as it were, it's a lot more difficult. All right, I need this roly-poly guy to hit me. Thank you, roly-poly. See, she cries and it makes me sad. So that's why I don't like her to have the death animation. And obviously, like, I can't use any of my attacks when she's crying, so that's also not good. But I needed my spin move, so thank you, roly-poly guys, I guess. But yeah, so you can also do like a down attack like this to sort of stun them in a way. And you can, it's kind of like a stun lock almost if you do it continuously. I'm still practicing that move in particular. But yeah, basically if you just like hit down continuously over and over and they like kind of stay in the same place. I kind of referred to that in the first boss, but we didn't end up doing that because it's actually very difficult. For my hands at least. I do a lot of coding for my work, so my hands are kind of shot by the time I play this, so I'm not going to be doing that today. One roly-poly person is always in the shadows. Also, you could sort of stun lock them if you space out your attacks, and that's kind of what you want to do if you don't use like a combination of the spin move plus the aerosol attack, as it were.
When you say stun lock, it's like avoiding using the finishing move of that combo to just keep it going?
So if you watch right here, I just keep hitting them without them getting tossed back. So like if I do like a combination, like 1, 2, 3, they'll like do like sort of a backwards, like they'll like fly backwards, like oh, like, just like fly backwards like that. Like of course I give you the sound effect with it, but if you just keep them right there, but if you just keep them right there, they won't fly backwards, and ultimately it'll save you time because they won't go off the screen, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because if they're off the screen, you could actually hit them. Like here's another power. So I actually did end up hitting that person, so that worked out while I showed y'all. But it takes forever to charge, so I usually don't use it unless I'm on the other side of the screen in dire circumstances, or you just feel like showing it off a GDQ hotfix. So
yeah, one of the big differences between this, as far as I can tell, and like some of the other games you compared it to, like the Ninja Turtle games, is in those games knocking them off screen can be really good because then it can let you scroll the screen forward and keep moving. But it seems in this one you just got to kill them all no matter whether they're on screen or not.
Right, this is sort of like a scene lock sort of situation, so you have to wait till they're all defeated before you can move on, really, which is sort of unfortunate, but also sort of good at the same time because I mean, obviously, if you defeat the enemies super early, that means you can just go to the next screen. Yeah. Especially with the Luna P-Ball, there is actually fairly difficult to get the special attack. Like the little bow I was referring to. There are very few pickups, so that's one thing to consider. You do get sort of like a refill of pickups depending on the area you're in, but you have to, it's like at the end of the whole stage in itself, so it's like you have to wait a while for that. These little clay / slime goo people are really annoying because they can just pop up wherever. I do run Sailor Moon R on Game Boy, which is also a fun little game, but I play the arcade %, so it's very short, sweet, and to the point. So if you're looking for a really short, I mean, it's like 8 minutes. It's a very short game, but there are also clay people in that as well. Go figure. It's still technically Sailor Moon R, but with those you kind of just jump through them instead of fight them. So I think my frustration comes from comparing this game with that game. I'm just like, oh, I could just jump through the other people, but this one I have to wait like 1,000 years just to hit them. So, I don't know. If you see a pattern here, the best combination to do in terms of fighting is 1-2 spin. And if you group the enemies together, which is obviously the most optimal thing, is the 1-2 and spin attack, but I did not plan that very well on this screen, but that's okay. So I'm gonna save those pastries, I guess. I don't even know what you would call them. I guess they are technically pastries. For the end of this, because I'm gonna need my spin attack for this. We're coming up to another boss, which is kind of annoying. I'll kind of talk about it here because it might happen fast, it might not. But we're gonna be fighting Rubius soon. He's a little pain in the butt because he can actually attack you if you jump. But honestly, it's not really that big of a deal because he don't really jump a whole lot unless you're going to the other side of the room, which is necessary to catch him in the corner. This game, I would say, is unique in the fact that if you catch him in the right side of the screen, he will just go off screen. You can't hit him, but if you catch him on the left side of the screen, he's on the screen the whole time. So you can hit him with your spin attack, and it's all fine and dandy. Yeah, a little bit of an explanation before we get to the scene, just in case it's like done and gone in a flash, which hopefully it is. But right,
that was a really big
this
fight
one I have to wait. Oh yeah, that one's really long. Okay, cool. So I had to wait till those clay people got on the screen and then use Luna P attack, or else it doesn't work. I found that out the hard way. It was really sad because I used my special attack and then it didn't do anything. But anyways. But yeah, that screen before is like really long, like for no reason almost, I want to say, you know what I mean? Like, why is it?
Yeah, they just keep respawning over and over and over again,
right.
And that's really mean because that means there's no pickups, like except for that first one.
So I accidentally pushed him in the corner, so that's what I mean. If you push him over there, he goes off screen. So unfortunately, we're gonna have a little bit of time loss here, but that's okay. This is Rubius. He's mean.
So ideally, you try to like knock him left, so then you can get him on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, right here. So sort of like this, and I ran out of my spin attack, but that's fine. I could just hit him. Just gonna smack him with our parasol. The good old-fashioned this umbrella smackdown. So ideally, I would have been on the left side of him when he came down from his little pedestal thing, and then you push him in that corner. It's actually not that difficult, but I was just not positioned right. But yeah, and then we do like a little curtsy, like, aha! We did it! These dangerous people. we just saved Crystal Tokyo. It's not a big deal.
Oh my god, the voice.
Sorry, I do voices when I sort of don't know what to say, but at that moment she's just like so nonchalant. Just like, oh, it's fine. Okay, so in this section we are on planet Nemesis. For those that know the lore, so there was this sort of, I guess he was sort of like a space sage or something named Nemesis, and then he becomes so powerful that he becomes a planet. Straight up planet. Like, how do you explain that to people? He's just so much, he's full of this dark energy and he becomes a planet. So don't ask questions, that's just what happens. So we are on planet Nemesis, where Black Moon is formally, this is their headquarters and we're trying to save the world, etc, etc. This game doesn't go into the whole Dark Queen thing where she transforms and it goes through all that. It doesn't go through that whole segment. So if you want to know what happens next, watch the anime or read the manga. Oh wow, he just launched me in the air.
Also, the
Go for it.
remakes of Sailor Moon Crystal are getting pretty far in the series, and those are really good.
Oh, I'll have to check those out.
For like a much more condensed retelling, since the anime is very long.
Oh yeah, okay, so just for reference, I haven't watched all of the animes, but I have read all of the manga at one point. I am rereading it, but I read the manga when I was younger, and there are so many filler episodes. Like, there's literally like 50 episodes of stuff. They're fighting these two people that have to do with tarot cards or something, and like all this other stuff, and I was just like, what is this? Like what is happening?
Yeah, there's 200 episodes in the anime.
Oh yeah, and I will say there's some filler episodes that are just so cute. Like Sailor Mercury has like somewhat of a crush on this other smart guy, and like it goes into sort of like the personal backgrounds of the Sailor Scouts and stuff. Like those fillers, I'm here for it. But the other ones that are just like, there's this random enemy that has nothing to do with anything, but haha, filler episode. I'm like, all right. Like,
I'm here for any filler episode with the outer Senshi though.
Yeah,
Haruka is non-binary life goals, like, for sure.
Oh my god, yes. Preach! Okay, these roly-polies are not being nice. Sometimes I can group them, sometimes I can't. I'm actually really surprised we haven't game overed yet, and it really isn't a big deal. So at the very beginning, before you start the game, you could actually set how many continues you have. I don't need more than 3 because I don't think I've ever needed that with Chibi%. If you are starting out playing this game with the Sailor Scouts, I recommend you raising it because it is actually a fairly difficult game. Like I said, the co-op is super fun and it's a lot more starter friendly if you're able to do a co-op method, again, either with Parsec or whoever you're living with at home, like, go for it. But yeah, it's actually a fairly difficult game outside of Chibi% and co-op. Obviously, Easy% is a lot easier. Oh, go figure, that's in the title anyways. But, so I just made fun of myself, it's fine. So I'm trying to strategically, I wouldn't say like, get my health down to a certain extent, but almost, because we're coming up to sort of the end of our journey. There's a section where I need to get run over by these roly-poly guys, but I'm also debating on how much life I want to use, so there's gonna be a battle of what I feel like doing strat-wise, everybody, so hold on to your seats. Alright, that actually worked out, because I didn't have enough spin attack. So if you group the roly-poly guys in like sort of one gathering, it's a lot easier to knock them out. We are on to the final fight. I will let y'all know when time is. It's not going to be for at least another maybe minute and a half. So basically, that's Prince Diamond. And he's just watching, little smirk. Oh, look at him. He's just sassy with his cape blowing in the wind. So there's 2 sets of enemies that are going to be coming out, sort of like in the Rubius fight. We want to hit them, and as you notice, I saved my super ultra special attack for the very end. Because we're going to be using it on Prince Diamond. Because it makes life easier. In order to sort of get his health bar low enough to where we need it, I actually have to use a spin attack beforehand. A little bit. Is like a portion of it where there's sort of, you see like their health bar not moving. Ouch. And it's like kind of graphic when they get electrocuted.
Yeah, just saw his skeleton. Like, what the heck?
Okay, we should be good now. time's gonna be coming up, and she does her little umbrella thing, which will be very soon. And time. Alright. That's it. That's all she wrote. This the Sailor Moon R on Super Famicom. And I hope you all enjoyed this
It's so cute.
this amazing game. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a super silly game. But you know what? In this day and age, you need super silly games. Grab your controller.
It's silly, sure, but it's adorable and it's funny to watch Chibi Moon beating up a bunch of bad guys with an umbrella.
Yes, exactly. And it's a tiny umbrella. And look at her, she's so cute. And also, this is a different ending than you'd get if you played as any of the Sailor Scouts. And you can play as any of the primary scouts because like Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus haven't been introduced in this series yet, so you can only play as the primary scouts. This game, unfortunately, the other three would be awesome to play as. But yeah, I'm so thankful I got to show off this game on a hotfix show because I want more people to know about it because it's a feel-good game. The music is actually really nice. The hitboxes are not bad for a brawler. Yeah, and thank you to my community for hanging out. I know this is pretty late for a lot of y'all, so I saw a lot of Vroom Vroom broadcast lovers in chat. Thank you so much for coming out. If you want to pop a follow my way, I'm on twitch.tv/AirAngel on Twitch, and then on Twitter and Instagram, I'm AirAngelTV. And I play kawaii games, as you can tell. I play a lot of Super Famicom, Japanese. If the game is cute, I will probably try to play it. That's just kind of my thing.
We were talking about like cartoon show game or cartoon games like show episode, and it was like easy thing was like, okay, let's just reach out to AirAngel. She probably has something adorable to bring to the table.
I got you. Anybody, if you need kawaii, hit me up. There isn't really a Discord for the Sailor Moon runs as far as I know, but if you have any questions about this game, let me know. I'm open to try to answer them as best I can. Yeah, and thank you, Ray, so much for being my co-pilot and going on this this amazing kawaii adventure with me.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. And, sayonara.
Yeah, so just to wrap things up real quick, this was our cartoon games edition of the Community Spotlight. Coming up this Sunday, we have the first episode of Speed Seasons, where it's going to be the actual race for Super Mario Bros. 2. They're going to reveal the next game for Speed Seasons afterwards, and then on the 15th, on the Community Spotlight, we're going to have someone on to showcase another kind of tutorial on getting started on the next game for Speed Seasons. So if you tune in next week, we'll have kind of more of a teaching stream with somebody coming on to show you how to get started on a speed run for the game that's going to be the next Speed Seasons race. So that's what we've got coming up on the next Community Spotlight. It's going to be a bunch of fun. I know what the game is, but I can't tell you yet because you have to wait until after the race on the 14th to learn what it is. So I definitely recommend tuning in for both the race and the tutorial stream afterwards on the Community Spotlight. But that was it for our cartoon games episode. It also sort of doubled as our International Women's Day episode because we just had 4 amazing women on. Continue to support women that you know, especially throughout this entire month and the rest of the year. It doesn't have to be just International Women's Day or March. Continue to make, women feel welcome in our community because in gaming spaces, they don't always feel that way. So do what you can. We will be going to a break here, and then we're going to raid someone afterwards. So we'll see you tomorrow for Random Number Generation starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks everybody for tuning in.